In economy, there are a lot of economic conditions and situations in every country. So in this video, we are going to explore about one of the conditions or situation, which is unemployment and the Islamic economic system.
First of all, we need to know what does it mean by unemployment. Unemployment is defined as a number of individuals that do not have any job but are actively seeking for a job and currently a part of the labor force. Unemployment rate is one of the economic indicators that measures the economist's performance. Additionally, the unemployment rate fluctuated depending on the economic conditions. For instance, the unemployment rate can be expected to rise when the job vacancy in the economy is scarce due to the poor economic conditions, example during recession and extreme poverty. On the contrary, positive economic conditions are expected to decrease the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate generally can be calculated as number of unemployed individuals divided by total of labor force. Due to the unemployment issue, the United Nations has realized one out of 17 Sustainable Development Goals SDG called decent work and economic growth, which is the 8th SDG. One of the targets under this goal is by 2030, all women and men, including young people and individuals with disabilities, will have full and productive employment as well as equal compensation for equal effort. According to the United Nations, this goal basically aims to promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. Islamic economic system, on the other hand, is an economic system that operates based on the Islamic laws, which is Maqasid al-Sharia, along with the guidance of Al-Quran and Al-Sunnah. Even though Islamic economy does have some similarity with conventional economy, there are also rules that need to be followed in the economy, such as the prohibition of riba, uncertainty, and gambling, as well as haram goods and services that include alcoholic drink. It is concerned with the study of human falah as a result of the organization of the Earth's resources on the basis of cooperation and participation. To be precise, Islamic economy is also known as the procedure of how Muslims as a Khalifa that was appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala organize their resources which are held in trust in order to attain falah. Additionally, falah can be defined as success in this life and hereafter.
As the number of people looking for employment grows, it becomes more difficult to find jobs for such a large number of people. The demand for labor will outnumber the available occupations in this situation. As a result, there will be an increase in the number of unemployed people. There are several types of unemployment and its determinants. The main types of unemployment are usually known as frictional, structural, and cyclical unemployment.
Frictional unemployment occurs when individuals change their job willingly. It also arises due to the labor market dynamism. For instance, an employee in a certain company changes their career to have a better job with a high-paying offer. However, there are also some of the employees who are trying to find a new job due to the dismissal of the previous job. This type of unemployment can also caused by those who are in the process of acquiring a job for the first time, such as a fresh graduate, which is someone who has just graduated from the university. On the other hand, structural unemployment occurs when workers are displaced due to the industrial reorganization, such as technological changes and geographical immobility. Such unemployment usually arises in the manufacturing industry. As an example, Foxconn, a supplier of Apple and Samsung, replaced 60,000 of their factory workers with robots back in 2016. Next, geographical immobility refers to the workers they are unable to work because they live far from the place or regions that offer the jobs vacancy. In contrast, cyclical unemployment takes place as a result of a downturn in economic activity over the business cycle. It is the main factor of recession and high unemployment rates. Reduced production of goods and services due to a drop in consumer demand for goods and services is one of the causes of cyclical unemployment. When there are fewer goods and services for dues, businesses are obliged to lay off some of their current employees in order to reduce their labor expenses. As a result, there will be more jobless people.
We noticed that the effect of unemployment not only affected the society level, but also the individual in terms of their health and many more. The more we have studied, the more we know that we should not take this subject matter for granted. So now let's figure out the best solution to resolve unemployment circumstance.
First up, to overcome unemployment is to have a stable political system. This is because if the government take action and play their role, well, at least they are actually contributing to decrease or flatten the percentage of unemployment in the country. Need to be reminded that whenever the country are able to control the total number of unemployment in their country, indirectly they are pursuing to attract the investor to invest in their country, and by doing that, will be a lot of job opportunities for the people to survive. Other than that is to encourage self-employment or entrepreneurship. Not to forget that self-employment or entrepreneurship is one of Prophet Muhammad's sunnah. We can do businesses in order to survive or live life, as long as we follow all the obligation in dealing or conducting businesses in Islam, which is: first, leave all the bad things or prohibited transactions such as not dealing with interest or riba businesses. Second, no intention to lie to customer or hiding the facts. The last one, not serving wine or serve a service which has an element of gambling. Furthermore, unemployment can be resolved by: first, controlling the population of growth. Second, restructure the minimum age of employees to retire. And the last one, using short-time working to reduce the effect of recession.
What is the effects of unemployment? There must be reasons why countries all around the world are trying their best to minimize or get rid of unemployment rate and issues. This is because unemployment could bring and lead to a lot of effects to the country, and most of them are negative. These negative consequences can be divided into two categories: social and economic repercussions. Socially, unemployment has the potential to negatively impact the country on two levels: individuals and society. First and foremost, as a direct result of not having a job, unemployment individuals are going to have lower income because a job pays a person's wages. Being unemployment deprives them of those payments, leaving the individual with less accessible income. In fact, unemployed people who do not have another source of income rely extensively on their savings or borrowed funds to cover basic necessities such as food and housing or living spendings. Low income issues will lead to the following effect of unemployment on individuals, which will be health issues comprising both mental and physical. When households are unemployed, they directly put themselves in a mental stressful condition. Thus, it can lead to physical health problems like headaches, sleeplessness, diabetes, heart disease, back pain, and high blood pressure. These health difficulties frequently result in more doctor visits and the usage of medicine to control the conditions. Realizing that most people rely on their work to provide health insurance, when they are unemployed, they are unlikely to have access to it. Unemployment can also put a person's health at risk because they typically skip health-related checkups to save money. Moving on to the next level of unemployment societal impact, which is on society as a whole. It cannot be doubted that unemployment can lead to poverty cycle continuance, as it can be seen that with present levels of young unemployment increasing the likelihood of poverty in the future. Future generations will bear a greater burden of work. Individuals are trapped in poverty as a result of such jobless shocks. As the continuation of poverty in society, criminal activities will also increase. Higher levels of crime and vandalism have been reported in areas with high levels of unemployment, particularly among young people. This is because when people are unable to earn an income legitimately, they may resort to unlawful and violent acts to support their family. 2/5 of persons who engage in criminal activity claim that unemployment is the primary reason for their illegal behavior. When people turn to violence to escape poverty, their chances of becoming criminal increase, and the expansion of violence in crime increases a country's political instability. As well as that, unemployment had direct implication on the economy as a whole. According to the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, unemployed persons spend less money, resulting in a lower contribution to the economy in terms of services or goods supplied and produced. They also face a reduction in their purchasing power, which means that other people who make the items that these people buy may lose their work, as well as the unemployed consume less goods and services. Furthermore, as unemployed people consume far less than employed people, hence a higher unemployment rate might result in shortage of goods sold in the market. This can result in a drop in revenue businesses. In economic terms, unemployment happens when the economy of a particular country is going through a recession level, whereby gross domestic product (GDP) is getting lower and lower, resulting from poor goods and services local production, and this clearly carries and put that country in a critical economic conditions.
Islamic economy is the assortment of rule, qualities, and principle of life that coordinate monetary life and set up relation of cohesion in an Islamic culture. The principle by following the guideline request expressive in Al-Quran and Sunnah, and the one who rules the transacting finance or other economic activities in Sharia compliant is Islamic commercial jurisprudence. In contrast, conventional economy is monetary framework that gives full opportunity to everybody to complete financial exercise. It doesn't have an outright norm and can change as per condition to a general public. Now, let's figure out the difference between these two economic systems. First, Islamic banks are based on principle of divine law, Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. Second, profits are shared between the bank and the depositor according to pre-agreed ration, and these profits are not guaranteed. Third, it aims at maximize profit but subject at Sharia and legislative restriction. Fourth, participate in partnership and joint venture with customer, their share in profit, and assume losses incurred by their customer. Other than that, the relationship of an Islamic bank with its client is that of partners, investor and entrepreneur, buyer and seller. Furthermore, Islamic economy is free interest from riba and introducing of Islamic taxes, zakat. And the last one, haram goods and services are prohibited. In contrast, conventional banking are based on fully man-made principle. Depositors are guaranteed a predetermined rate of return interest. Third one, lend money with a predetermined rate of return. Next, it aims at maximizing profit with only legislative restriction. The relationship of bank with its client is that of creditor and debtor. And the last one, haram goods and services are not prohibited.
Why does unemployment become the biggest issue in Arab states? Arab states are a list of 22 countries which are members of the Arab League. According to the International Labour Organization, the average unemployment rate for Arab states is 7.3%. All of this started because of the conflict among themselves and conflict around the world. Taking Iran and Iraq war as an example, President Saddam Hussein came up with a great intention to widen their political geography area. Conflict between these two oil-producing countries had reduced their revenue from crude oil exporting, making a loss of 900 million USD. According to NEXA, Iran spent 19.6 billion in the war, and the war furthered the decline of the Iranian economy. This decline will cause the Iranian and Iraqi to find jobs that they lost after fighting in the war. This shows that Iran and Iraq still suffer from their past economic situation, which was in decline, as the unemployment rate are through the roof because the war had caused massive damage to many public facilities and people lost their jobs. Statista reported that the unemployment rate for Iran is 10.96% and 13.74% for Iraq in 2020. The aftermath of the war had given them long-term obstacle in finding the right way to reconstruct the economy. We move on to the next example, which is the Israel and Palestine conflict. This conflict began with the First Zionist Congress in 1897 and Balfour Declaration in 1917. After that, the nightmares began with the Arab-Israel conflict, Gaza war, and many more. On a more recent note, Israeli government withheld $128 million of the Palestinian tax and customs money. This blockage had caused PA to be unable to pay for the full salaries of its civil and police staff, estimated at $150 million per month in 2018, and was only able to pay 60% of these salaries. This tragedy has increased the level of unemployment rate for Palestinians. At its peak, as many people lost their job because of insufficient funds from the government to pay for their workers' salaries. According to International Labour Organization, Palestinians suffered a rate of unemployment of 23.4% in 2020. People suffer from many aspects of difficulties such as unemployment that leads to poverty, martyrdom, and violence. This problem do not create for themselves, as people with power are the ones who ask for this to happen because of their greed, dishonest, and respectful moral that make people suffer from this sort of situations. Now we have got to the bottom of unemployment. The reasons for unemployment are people changing jobs temporarily, decrease in demand of labour, industrial reorganisation, and downturn of economic activities. Meanwhile, the effect of unemployment divided into two repercussions, social and economic. We also have stated the best solution to overcome unemployment, which are having a stable political system, controlling population growth in the nation, restructure the minimum age of employees to retire, and using short-time working to reduce the effect of recessions. As what mentioned earlier, we also discussed the differences between conventional economic and Islamic economic, which are in the aspect of usurious transaction and practicing distributions. We also tried to sort out why unemployment is more likely the biggest issue in Islamic countries, and the answer is because there are too many internal and external conflicts among themselves. As a result, unemployment has a lot of disadvantages compared to advantages. To conclude, as a Muslim, we have to strive in order to survive in this world. We cannot do nothing to earn something because success doesn't come to you unless you work for it. InsyaAllah, Allah SWT will always ease human affairs if we do something in a good way and in His satisfaction.